Welcome back to the channel, guys. On today's video, we're gonna have a slew of parts to go through, but first, we gotta deal with the tranny. Okay, so if you guys been following along my videos with the black car, you guys know that the tranny on this car is busted. Fourth gear is grinding. Every other gear feels great, but fourth gear is definitely grinding. I was kind of hoping that I can limp it for a little while, but honestly, it was just getting worse and worse. And the more I drove it, the more it just drove me nuts. So I had said in previous videos that, I was gonna have to rip the tranny out. So I figured, you know what, let me rip off the Band-Aid and get this thing out of here. So I went back and forth. I considered many things. I considered buying a transmission and putting it in there and having a spare transmission. I actually talked to a few guys that had built transmissions or transmissions in different stages. So if you guys are watching and I kind of strung you along, or you feel that I strung you along, I'm sorry, but it's just tough sometimes making all these decisions because I spent so much money on this car already. And I was really trying to, or I was really trying to stay under the budget that I kind of had put for myself. But you guys know how builds go, things change, and many surprises have come along. So it is what it is. So finally I decided, the really the most sensible thing to do would be to take, the transmission out of this car and send it out to get fixed. Another thing that I realized is from driving, one day I went on the highway. So I'm trying to think that maybe this thing has a longer final drive because, I'm going 80. All right, hold on, let me get to 80. I'm going 80, and I am below 3,500 RPM. And I just gotta say, I'm really liking this grandpa exhaust. I'm going 70 something, almost 80. And yeah, I can barely hear the exhaust, but really mostly what I hear is just road noise, wind noise, road noise from the tires, but barely an exhaust. But if you get into it, there it is. I get an equal amount of exhaust and intake. So after that, I talked to a few people. It became obvious that the transmission already has a final drive of some kind. I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to take a guess and say that it's a 411, since that's kind of like the most popular for this. But anyways, I know that some of you guys want to see me pulling the tranny out of this, but unfortunately, guys, the tranny's already out. I just didn't have time, to be honest with you. I've been super busy at work, super stressed out. I've just been super busy with family and travel and work and all kinds of stuff like that. So I had my buddy Marlon actually pull this out. He pulled it out real quick. So tranny's out. I had actually already went out to TRE. I decided to send it to TRE. I've never used TRE, but I've always heard great things about them. So I figured, what the hell, let me try them out. And I also decided to send the transfer case. There was nothing really wrong with the transfer case per se. There was no noise or anything like that. But I figured, might as well while I'm in there, right? So good news is the car has, let me see if I can show you guys. Kind of hard to see from here, but if you can see counted there, that's a triple plate. So it is an XZE triple plate. I think this is an older triple plate because it has a soft pedal. So it has to have like the softer pressure plate that they used to sell. I don't think you can get this pressure plate anymore for a triple plate. So anyways, so I think that I'm going to chance it, and it looks like it has pretty good thicknesses in there. I'll kind of try to measure in there. It's difficult to measure, but nothing really seemed to be wrong with the clutch. So I think I'm gonna roll the dice and leave that clutch in there. It does make a little bit of noise, but honestly, if I'm going to do a little bit of auto Xing and a little bit of tracking, this clutch just perfect for that. Okay, so one of the big things that I don't like about this car is, if you guys see down there, is there's quite a bit of rust on that subframe. It's really from getting banged up, okay, and the powder coating getting chipped and stuff like that. Again, this is a Florida car, it's always been in Florida, so it's not like the rust is just going through it, but I definitely don't want that to get worse. So I want to take that out and get it, you know, stripped and repowder coated. And while I'm in there, if I'm gonna take that out, I have a whole slew of stuff that would need to happen. So let's go through all of this. Okay, so first of all, let's go through the stuff with the tranny. So when I pulled the tranny out, or when Marlon pulled the tranny out, I took this stuff apart to send to TRE, okay? And I immediately noticed that the bushings in here, in this fork, this is the fork that actuates the bearing, that actuates the clutch. It's like, it has big ridges in it. I don't know if you guys can tell from there. I didn't realize you could just buy these bushings. I'll explain to that in a bit. But if you guys look at the shaft, come on, focus. So if you see these lines here, these lines are actually pretty deep in there, okay? And then this is pretty worn out. So I decided, well, let me replace the shaft. I already had to get a throwout bearing. Throwout bearing had to be replaced. I ordered a new monolock. That's the locking clip for the throwout bearing, okay? I got my new shaft, okay? I ordered my new fork. Now, with the fork, I thought the fork came with the bearings. Well, I didn't realize there's actually separate bearings, but it doesn't come with the bearings. If you guys see, there's like a little separate sleeve in there on each side. So I guess I could have just popped those out and put new ones in there. But anyway, so I ordered the new sleeves or bearings or whatever. The tranny also was missing these like felt washers. These felt washers go here in between the springs. There's some springs here. Moving on, since the subframe is gonna come down, this is all stuff that I wanted to do anyways, okay? One of the things that is a huge pain in the ass without dropping the subframe is the steering bushings. So I had actually bought this for the gray car, and I didn't put them in, obviously before it got totaled, because this is a huge pain in the ass to install. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these. I got the caster bushings, okay? So this is for the rear of the lower control arm, all right? And then these are the front lower control arm bushings, okay? So all new bushings for the lower control arm. Then we have the roll center kit here. So this is the kit that you use with the taller, I always forget what these things are called. Whatever, these things and the tie rods. Okay, so while I'm in there, obviously the car, it has like stock brakes, but like this one looks okay, but the fronts look pretty crappy. Okay, and if I'm going to track this car, then obviously the stock brakes are not really gonna put up with that. So for the rear, I just went with DBA. These are not two pieces, it's a single piece, but DBA slider rotors. For the front, I'm doing gyro disc, but these are bigger than stock two-piece rotors for the front. I'll explain that in a second. I have brand new brake lines from the rear, okay? And then to make these fit, I'm gonna do the Evo 10 brake conversion, okay? So I got these from a guy on Facebook. I'll try to look him up and put his info down in the description. But anyway, so these are freshly rebuilt, powder coated Evo 10 front calipers, okay? So we're gonna be going through that process of taking these out. We have to do some modification to the knuckle and to be able to fit those bigger rotors and calipers. We're also gonna be getting rid of the dust shields and stuff like that. Now, in the back, I could really just put this in, the rotors in, and just, rock with it. But, since these look so fresh, I think I'm going to have to go ahead and do those as well. So I'm gonna pop those out. The Evo 10 brakes are very difficult to fit on their 17. So the stock size wheels on the Evo 8, Evo 9 are 17 inch in diameter, okay? And the Evo 10 comes with 18s. So I do have new wheels, which I'll show you guys in a future video. But to fit these wheels, I'm gonna have to run some spacers, and then to run the spacer safely, I got some fresh ARP wheel studs. I do have wheel studs for the rear as well, but I don't need a spacer, so I'm not sure. We'll see how motivated I am and if I get to do the studs in the rear as well. But this is absolutely necessary to fit the new wheels. We got new lug nuts. So a lot going on with the Evo, guys. I don't know that we're gonna get all this done in one video, okay? So expect this to be a little bit of a series, okay, going on, and you know, hopefully completing with getting the transmission, the brand new transmission, not brand new, but the freshly rebuilt transmission from TRE and TK's. Definitely a chore getting this thing out by myself on these jack stands. I ended up having to put a support here for the motor, which kind of got in the way, gets in the way. So I think I'm gonna get one of those crossbars to kind of support this. And so that when I put it back, it's gonna be a huge pain in the ass with that thing in there. But anyways, yeah, so super cruddy, obviously as I expected. This is something that I wasn't able to clean up. All right, so we're gonna take all this apart. We're gonna replace this guy, this bushing, that bushing, and these are the steering wheel bushings, guys. So this is why I was saying this is a huge pain in the ass to do. So it's this one, and you have bushings in here with some special washers and stuff like that. So to do this, well, this is on the car with the tranny and the transfer case in place. It's just, I know it's not impossible. I've seen some guys on the forum that posted that supposedly did it, but it just wasn't worth it. So, you know, this is a perfect time. So we're gonna get this powder coated. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna give them these brackets too, since these brackets are like zinc, but you know, they get all cruddy like this. I'm gonna give them the north-south bar. Okay, I'm gonna give them this little piece here, and I just realized that my ACD thing, I don't know if you could see, it's a little bit of, there's some rust on there too, surface rust. So I think I'm going to take that off and give that to him. So this is Labor Day weekend, so he's not gonna touch them, so I think I got time. So let me get going taking all this stuff apart. All right, ton of work, but I got everything done. I got all this stuff taken apart. So this is all the stuff that's gonna go to the powder coater, minus the ACD pump bracket. I still gotta get that out. I'm just done for the day. So anyways, we're gonna pick this back up on the next video, guys. Next video, we're gonna tackle the control arms. We're gonna press all these bushings out, press the new stuff in, okay? We're gonna start working on the brakes. I gotta get the rear brakes out to the powder coater to get these to match the new front brakes. And then we gotta do the Evo X front conversion, get all that working. And I guess we'll see where that leaves us. We'll see if we can fit in, if this comes back on time. We'll see what happens on the next one. But still lots of work to do on the Evo, obviously. So stay tuned, guys. So I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.